Hello and welcome to the Intervention Model Day of the Week survey, kind of some background information for you. First, how we got started on the intervention model. The school board gave us a goal to increase the graduation rate. Our graduation rate in Idaho Falls School District is about 75%. And they also gave us a goal to decrease the number of students who are below proficient in reading and math and science as well. So those were the driving forces as we met, and we started to talk about how can we use our resources and our time to better serve all of our students and help increase our graduation rate and proficiency, which is really the number of students who are reading and doing math and science at grade level. So as we met, we decided when we looked at 7th through 12th grade students that we would propose actually for all students that we would have an intervention school day where students could get, for all of our 7 through 12 students, could get access to a teacher in a smaller group and get the additional help and support they need. Now, we would be targeting on that one day, it would be a half day of school. It'd be 4 hours of instruction. There would be a schedule where students would go to their classes, be able to work with their teachers, get their questions answered, get help in a smaller group. And at the end of that 4 hours of instruction, they'd be able to access lunch and then head home. Then in the afternoon, teachers would meet together in professional learning communities or PLCs for 2 hours. And that gives them time to look at which students need the most help, how they can help them, which students need additional enrichment, how they can help them throughout the week, and then plan for the week. They would work together as a content area, so all the math teachers and all the English teachers together. And at our middle schools, they would work in teams that have English, math, science, and social studies together for an hour, and then they would meet as their content teams for an hour too. So it gives them a lot of time to look at what the students' needs are and really look at who's doing well, what concepts they understand, and those they don't, and then to be able to plan instruction both for the intervention day and for the week to better meet our students' needs and to catch students early with things they don't understand. So which students would be required to attend that one day a week, 4 hours of school for that extra intervention help? Any student that had a D, an F, or an I. I means the teacher knows that that child needs a little bit more help. They need some intervention. So if we see a child whose grades are starting to drop, they would be a child who might need intervention. Or we might have some students that need additional enrichment. So we would they would be required to come and get some additional enrichment. Now, for our students who are in AP classes, dual credit classes, teachers could choose to tell students they need to come to school every single day, including the intervention school day. For our AP classes, that's probably pretty likely to happen. But so intervention day is for students who have a D and F or need intervention, as well as our students who have advanced learning opportunities. Students would be notified at the beginning of the semester for the need to attend school on the in-person on the intervention school day. So what about the students who don't have a D, F, or have been identified as needing intervention? Those students have online learning, extension opportunities, practice opportunities, and independent learning that they would do at home. So our students who attend would be working in small groups with their teacher, getting their questions answered, getting additional instruction, and learning that would help them throughout the week. Attendance would be taken for the students who are required to attend our intervention school day in person, and the schedule would be published for parents so they would know what that was. So how would you know if your child needed to attend school in person on our intervention school day? Well, parents will receive a text the day prior to our intervention school day by noon, letting them know that their child needs to attend intervention school day in person. It would be a required in-person school day for them, or if their student would be learning online outside of school. Now, any student could come to school on the intervention school day. So that means a child could come and study for a test. They might be able to come and retake a test to improve their grade. They could come and sit in on some of the intervention activities, or it might be a study for a test to help them prepare for a test. So all students are invited. The students who need intervention or have a D or an F are required to attend, along with students who are in AP or dual credit classes may be required to attend. Our teachers would be keeping grades up to date all of the time to make sure that students know. And some students would be coming to intervention school day to get that extra help, support, explanations, and practice to help them with their understanding the concepts in a course or the courses they're taking. Some students might need to come and just have some support in completing assignments, but we would do both of those things. Finally, schools would set their own schedules, so they might look a little bit different at every single school, but it also helps all of our schools to meet the needs of their students and make sure that everyone is getting access to intervention the way they should. Now, why did we come up with this schedule? Well, or with this plan for our secondary students? We had an opportunity to visit both Bonneville School District schools and schools in Rigby School District. Both of these schools have an intervention school day. And the reason that we were intrigued by that and started to wonder if that might be the right fit for Idaho Falls School District is when we looked at the graduation rates, year one that both school districts implemented the intervention school day and the intervention model in their district, they saw an immediate jump in graduation rate. So for Bonneville School District, they immediately saw just shy of 7% improvement in their graduation rate, and Rigby saw a 6% improvement in their graduation rate. So we knew that they must be on to something. Now, one of the things that's really interesting to note is that in Rigby, they have their intervention school day on a Friday. And in Bonneville, they had for their students in 7th through 12th grade, they've actually tried two different intervention school days. They've tried Friday and they've tried Monday. And we'll get to that in just a minute. So you might wonder, what would intervention look like for our elementary students? Well, elementary students, because they're getting foundational skills and this is new and they're learning more, a lot of important skills like reading skills and some of our foundational concepts for math, it's important that intervention is delivered to them every day. But to do that effectively, we need to get students into small groups so that they're getting small group instruction on a consistent basis. It's a great way to help all of our students, our advanced students, continue to grow and learn skills and concepts that might even be beyond their grade level, and those who need extra support and help so that they're learning the concepts at grade level have access to that every day. And we do that through using some of the paraprofessionals that work in our schools. Now, the real challenge is because we're also using our paraprofessionals, and there's so many groups that are running simultaneously at the same time, our teachers need time to plan for that. They need time to determine what skills different groups of students needs and the instruction that would be best for those students. So to give them time to do that, instead of having late start one day a week, we would have early release one day a week. So it's really not a change in the amount of time that students are in school. It's the same amount of time, we're just moving it to the end of the day. And by doing that, it gives teachers that 1 hour of early release time, plus the time that they typically have after school, to meet together as a professional learning community or a PLC to plan for all of the needs for all of their students. This way, students still would get lunch, they would still get recess, but it also gives teachers that uninterrupted time to work together, to plan, and to work with their paraprofessionals to meet the reading and math needs of all students, our advanced students, and those who might need extra support, and everybody in between. Now, PLCs, remember, are professional learning communities. Our teachers would be working really hard to make sure that those are data-driven, that they're using what they see students doing in class to determine which group is best, and that those groups are flexible, that they would be moving students between groups to better meet their needs, and that the district would also be providing consistent training to all of our paraprofessionals and our teachers so that they are ready to help students and know how best to help students in these small groups. And our teachers are definitely the right people to be leading that work. So on the intervention school day, elementary students would be released from school 1 hour earlier than they are right now, rather than starting late on Friday morning. So which day of the week will we be holding intervention school day, where our elementary students are released from school 1 hour early? And our students in 7th through 12th grade, some are required to come to school and others are looking at online options for practice and extension. Well, that's why we're here. That's the question. So we'll be looking at a survey or providing a survey for you where we will be looking at Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'd like to share a little bit about what we've learned from visiting Bonneville School District and Rigby School District about these different days. And again, the interesting thing here is that Bonneville School District has had intervention day for students in 7th through 12th grade on Friday and on Monday. So they could really compare and contrast for us those different days where Rigby has always had Friday. So Mondays, some advantages for a Monday intervention school day. We have better attendance at school on Monday for both teachers and students. And when we visited both school districts, we saw on Monday, students and teachers both came with high energy and were pretty focused. And we saw that as a big advantage that they could take advantage of that there on intervention school day. Our athletes who maybe would miss school on a Friday occasionally to go to a state tournament or a tournament at a greater distance would still be able to access intervention and get that support. It's important to keep in mind that our athletes generally, the furthest they go is Pocatello and then up to Rexburg. That's kind of the range of where our athletes travel. So generally, they're only missing the last hour or two of school right now anyway. But so they wouldn't generally miss the morning unless they're traveling to a tournament that's quite a distance, or they're traveling to a state tournament, which is also generally held in the Boise area, sometimes northern Idaho, and occasionally here in southeast Idaho as well. So Mondays allow athletes who do miss that time to attend intervention day on Monday. It gives time for teachers to plan for intervention throughout the week before the week starts and to address those needs. And the teachers who were in Bonneville School District told us that Monday really decreased their stress, that on Sunday when they were thinking about coming back to school, they had a lower level of stress because they knew they were coming back to help provide intervention for small groups of students and then prepare for the week. They said they saw that as a big difference between Friday and Monday. That was something that surprised all of us and when we visited the different schools. And they said that they saw better engagement in PLC's, professional learning communities, on Monday because it was the beginning of the week. Now, one of the things, a disadvantage for Monday is that sometimes families might pull a student from school for personal reasons, but we can see that that can happen on any day of the week. So let's take a look at Friday. And as reported, and what we found from visiting other districts is that an advantage to Friday is if athletes on those few occasional times that they would miss Friday intervention school day, they can engage in online learning activities, or if they don't have need to attend in person the intervention school day, they can engage in online learning activities and it wouldn't conflict with their travel schedule. Fridays also give teachers time to plan for intervention for the upcoming week, similar to Mondays, but Friday you would be planning for the week ahead. And there's a decrease in teacher stress, although the teachers said they still felt stress on Sunday when there was Friday intervention day that they didn't feel on Monday. Some disadvantages to Friday: when we talked to the administrators and the teachers in Bonneville School District, where they've had both Monday and Friday intervention days, they said there was a little higher absenteeism for students and for teachers when intervention day was on Friday. The athletes who travel on those few occasions when they might miss all of Friday, they don't have any access to intervention time, so they can't come to intervention on Monday to try to make up the assignments and learn what happened in school that they missed because they would be traveling. And when coaches are traveling also on a Friday, and again, those don't happen frequently, but the coaches would not be available to provide that intervention. And they just talked about we're tired on Fridays and they saw a different level of energy. And that's what teachers reported to us. So now let's take a look at Wednesday, some advantages to Wednesdays. And again, we weren't able to visit any school districts that had Wednesdays as an intervention day. So these are a few people on the committee from the teachers, parents, and patrons that were on the committee had some experience with Wednesdays in other districts, but we weren't able to visit a district that had intervention school day on Wednesday. So as we talked, some advantages: our current attendance is high on Wednesday compared to Mondays and Fridays. So attendance that day at intervention school day would be high, or should be if it continues our current trends. There would be minimal conflict with athletics because generally games are towards the end of the week. It does give teachers time to plan for intervention for the following week, and it gives them time to do that in the middle of the week, kind of recalibrate and reset during the middle of the week. Some disadvantages to that is that midweek planning can create some challenges. We're right in the middle of the week, so we have to look ahead to the rest of the week and the beginning of another week. So some committee members felt like that might create some challenges. One of the things to really consider here is that Our school, Rigby School District, had middle school students attending summer school. They had about 100 students attending summer school before they started the intervention school day. And by the end, or as soon as they implemented the intervention school day model, they had only two middle school students that needed intervention or needed summer school the next summer. So we know there are a lot of positive benefits for this. I appreciate you listening to all of this, and we're so excited and interested in your feedback as the board considers which day of the week will work best for our students. Thanks so much for your time.